the beauty in like Razorblade is like we're a crossover band, we're a punk band, but we're also a metal band. And I make that joke like all the time when we get to the punk shows. I'm like, we're not a punk band, we're a metal band. Like, we need to make a couple dollars. You gotta buy a T-shirt or something. Like, like we're not doing this to like fight the government.
Two-step, they'll
you know, we're punky, we're sloppy, but also we're like, you know,
it's a really interesting conversation to have when you're dealing with bands in like a DIY underground. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to attack you there. Jesus Christ, fist fight. No, I didn't like. Whenever you're dealing with those bands, but you're somebody that is trying to do this, like you said, I want to be able to make money playing guitar.
Oh yeah.
And it's like there's that threshold of like, you know, when does like it stop being DIY, and also like how far is DIY? What's the threshold for DIY? I remember like being in like this band years ago, and when like, you know, I was like, we should stop selling T-shirts for $10. Everybody looked at me like I was a psychopath. And I was like, I was like, it's like we're not making any money. It was like it's not about the money. I'm like, you're right, but also like if it's not about the money, why bother making the shirts at all?
We kind of get I mean, we get around that in different ways.
It's hard,
like,
right?
Slammy also makes leather and other things that are kind of adjacent to thrash and punk and stuff. So
like
there is. This just like our merch table. It's going to be QVC for a second. But thank you. Oh, dude, I shouldn't know you even have that. Could have talked about that ahead of time. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just ways that, like, we're still like, yeah, we need to make money, and you can only buy so many T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. But we're trying to work with the fact that, like, we all live in a fucking system we don't want to live in. That's, like, completely consumer-driven.
Yep.
And, you know, we've all been pretty poor. I mean, middle class at best, like, our whole lives. So it's like, well, grinding and sort of selling part of your own, you know, skills or whatever is sort of part of it.
Totally.
But
yeah, like I definitely tell like all the younger bands that ask me, you know, like, oh, how do you tour? Like, what do you do? And I always tell them, like, have good merch. Even if you're not touring, you're just playing like shows, have good merch. Like, I'm always like the basics, you know, like T-shirts and hats and hoodies, whatever. And I'm like, I make leather and jewelry and shit. I sell that at the table. My wife will sell stuff at our merch table, like, because my wife's a tattoo artist and makes all sorts of crazy shit like I do. And she'll sell that shit at the merch table. And and it brings like a different, you know, you don't just have like a shirt.
It's like a little bazaar came to town.
Yeah, like,
because it's like, no, we're about that life.
We try to think of like different crazy merch ideas all the time. We have thongs,
yeah, we were selling out of thongs.
Hot item.
Ohio. Shout out.
Who else has thongs?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, utilizing your resources, utilizing your creativity. Yeah, and merch is huge. And like, you know, with Greywalker, it's like we've been able to do so much stuff just from selling T-shirts.
Yeah,
you know, just like paid for recording an album just because we sold some T-shirts.
We bought a van from 2 tours we did.
Yeah,
and I mean it is a piece of shit,
but it's a van.
It was a really bad
made it for 2 tours.
We did 2 big tours. We took it on 2 small tours. It's getting worked on.
It broke down Michael, at a get-go down the street. We were so lucky.
Oh, yeah.
That was
terrible.
That could have been very far away.
But Michael, from the earlier story, he's fixing the van. So shout out to Michael and his band Ronin. They're tight. Just wanted to, shout out. But, you know, and it's like discouraging, but I'm like, you know what? We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. And you just got to keep going, you know, like,